This is just my hobby. This is not really work, but I love diving beetles. See if we caught any, or if we caught nothing. We caught, wow, look at that. We caught a monster. Are you serious? That is huge. I have never seen this beetle alive, and I had very little hope that I ever will. And like Ben, you recorded this moment. This is not just like staged bug from some collection. This is fucking amazing. Sorry for my French, but if I'm not mistaken, this beetle is called Mega Deitz. It means these are the largest and coolest diving beetles in the world. And there are 2 of them. Ah, look at that. That is crazy. Look at that. They're green and beautiful, absolutely beautiful. You see how the trap works, right? There's a dead meat fish in this case, and I put this thing inverted, the lid inverted inside, so they swim in, they smell the fish. They want to grab it, but they don't know how to get out. Now that is, Ben, we caught Mega Deitz. That has never happened to me before, and not for lack of trying. Why do we bother doing field work? If you want to do sciences, why not work in a biotech lab or with SpaceX, right? Why don't we just stay home in air-conditioned labs, or even better, in our apartments and just crunch data, right? Study the theory and that kind of stuff. Not that there's anything bad about it, but you can guess my answer already. It's because this is where life is. This is where life evolved, and this is where it persists in the real abundance. Our understanding of life is so poor because we spend all our thinking time indoors. In our modern days, we only interact with other people or with technology. And then you come out here and you cannot help but being in awe. You look around and it's all green. I don't know how to describe it, but out here it really feels like your brain wakes up. Essentially, I would actually say that in your regular routine, you're not seeing yourself in the span of time that you can while you're in a place like this. Folks spend their times running forward without first thinking about the direction. Is the speed really important, or is stopping for a second and thinking, which direction am I going to run forward or walk, or am I going to stay where I am? It makes you think about your science. It makes you think about the goal of it, and not just like the goal of the project or the process in the lab, but it makes you think about, why are we even doing this whole thing, science? Like, what's the value of it? The other benefit of doing research here is the boredom. It is so important to unplug, to disconnect, and then you find out that your brain does amazing things, such as comes up with new ideas. That's not just Jiri talking, that's actually, there's research on it showing that if you stop the influx of ideas into your brain holds a lot of information and ideas and reshuffles them in novel ways. That's what science is about. That's what we are supposed to be doing. Reconnecting knowledge in novel ways. But you cannot do that if you're constantly under an avalanche of information. Based on my own personal experience, I can guarantee the phenomenon that I call the third day revelations, which is that on a third day at a fieldwork station like this, I always come up with the new idea for the new proposal, grant proposal, or new idea for a paper or something like that. A third day revelation, and you need the boredom of a field station. That's amazing. See, the amazing thing is that I've only seen these in collections, in like fancy museums around the world. They're so rare because they require this high quality ecosystem. Look at that. That's incredible. Look at the blue eyes. A submarine with blue eyes. That one is not doing so well, so I'm gonna have to let it breathe a little bit. so I can let them go again.
Okay, let's get these back in the lake.
But like, how much do we know about these insects? Literally, how many people even know they exist? Blue-eyed submarines that eat and kill fish.